Hi guys, are you tired of being inconsistent with your golf shots? This might be your tendency and might be your problem. Make sure you stay tuned. Excited to share this with you. Okay, when we're looking at inconsistency and what might be the factor for you when it comes to inconsistency is what's actually happening with the hands, because that's going to be a big factor in what the club face is doing, and then are we able to repeat the downswing each time. Usually the first thing people say when they come to me is, I want to be more consistent. Okay, so what does that mean and how does it fit you? This is for players that struggle with understanding what the grip pressure is supposed to be in the swing and sort of going through three different tendencies I see when we're looking at grip pressure in the backswing. Okay, so tendency number one is when players think that they need to hold the club super light in the backswing with their hands. Okay, so what I usually see when this happens is, actually I saw it twice this last week, is they get to the top and their right hand actually starts to come off the club. Okay, so when their right hand comes off the club, you can see it's almost like this hand is not putting any pressure into the grip. And then when I go to transition from there and I try to grab the grip and transition, so if I go up to the top and this hand's off and then I grab it, every time I grab that club in transition, the forces into the club could change, okay? So it's making sure that when you get to the top, we're able to put some pressure into that right hand, making sure that whole hand stays onto the club, okay? So if I'm swinging right hand only, I wanna make sure that I'm not letting go of that club at the top of the backswing. Really important key, making sure that your trail hand, for me, my right hand, stays on the club as I get to the top, so I'm putting enough pressure into the grip so I don't lose pressure with that trail hand, and then that's gonna cause some big inconsistencies in downswing. So that's step number one in this. Okay, so tendency number two, when I see the top and players not putting enough pressure into the grip, is actually now through the lead hand. So they'll get up here and their lead hand will start to separate from the club. And when that happens and they go to re-grip it, it's gonna put some different forces into the club. And that's usually gonna lead to sort of a look like if I let go and then re-grab it. So if my right hand's on there, but my left hand comes off and I re-grab it with my left hand, when I re-grab it, sometimes that's gonna throw the club out early, leading to heavy shots, leading to, again, like not being able to manage what the club face is doing in impact, because it's hard to support that force once it starts to go like that. So when we get to the top, we want to make sure that our trail hand stays all the way onto the grip. I'm putting a pretty good amount of force on it. And I'll share a drill at the end that I really like when it comes to the top and how we can make sure we're getting the right force into the grip. Now, fault number three is when players are going up and, again, they're not putting enough force into the club. The tendency I see is they get up here and they get to around this spot of the backswing, and because they're trying to keep their hands really relaxed, they actually let their arms bend a lot as they're getting up to the top. So there's no sort of force to keep the structure into their backswing. So structure meaning the hands away from my body versus sort of collapsed into me and my hands really relaxed. So when this happens, when I come down, sometimes the inconsistency part is I'll hit a lot of thin shots because my arms are so narrow as I come in, I can't get them extended enough by the time impact happens. Again, impact's happening really quick from the top to downswing, around 0.25 seconds, so really quick for most players. If I'm trying to stay super relaxed with my hands and my arms bend too much, it's hard to get them back out into impact and into the right spot coming into the ball. Okay. The drill to help is super simple. We just grab a tee or a broken tee. So for fault number one, when we're losing trail hand pressure, okay, I'm just gonna put the tee on top of my lead thumb, okay, and then I'm gonna crush that tee onto that thumb. And as I go up, I'm keeping pressure into that thumb the whole time. So doing some practice swings. What's it like not to let that tee drop out at the top? That's gonna be for fault number one. For fault number two, we're just gonna switch the tee. We're gonna actually put it on the bottom of the club. Okay, so now I have my lead hand holding the tee under my fingers, okay? And then I go up to the top, and again, what's it like to keep the pressure on those fingers the whole time as I'm doing those practice swings? So actually making sure that I don't lose that tee in that top of backswing position with those three fingers. And then the third one is the idea that I'm gonna create a little bit of pressure into the club and I'm gonna move it in front of me. So I'm gonna keep my arms relatively extended, and then I'm just gonna turn to the top. If I do that, that's gonna help me not let my arms get too soft and my hands get too soft. So I push down into the club and I wind it up to the top. That's gonna be a good one if you tend to let the arms get too relaxed in the fingers get too relaxed at the top of backswing. Those three things are definitely going to help consistency. One, with consistent pressure into the club, and two, with making sure that my width in my swing remains constant. If that's constant, our odds of consistency are way higher. Hopes this helps you guys. Thanks so much for watching.